Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Liberty, watching the stars through the main viewing screen. The ship was 3 days out from Earth, heading toward the Centauri trade hub for what should have been a routine diplomatic mission. Jake had been captain for 2 years now, and he loved every moment of commanding humanity's newest deep space vessel. The Liberty was beautiful and powerful. She carried 200 crew members and had the most advanced technology Earth could build. Her hull gleamed silver in the starlight, and her engines could push her faster than any ship humans had ever made before. Jake was proud to be her captain. "Captain, we're receiving a distress signal," said Katie Wells from the communications station. Katie was young but very good at her job. She had joined the crew 6 months ago and quickly proved herself reliable. Jake walked over to her station. "Where's it coming from?" Katie frowned at her screen. "It's strange, sir. The signal is coming from the Kepler system, but that area is supposed to be empty. No colonies, no trade routes, nothing. What does the message say?" Jake asked. Katie played the recording. A voice filled the bridge, speaking in broken English with a heavy alien accent. "Help us, please. Our ship is dying. We need assistance. We are in the Kepler system, 3rd planet. Please help us." Jake looked at his senior officers. Lisa Parker, his chief engineer, was a tough woman who could fix anything. She had been working on starships for 15 years and knew every bolt and wire on the Liberty. Tony Rodriguez, the navigation officer, was quiet but brilliant. He could plot a course through an asteroid field blindfolded. All 3 of them looked concerned. "It could be a trap," Lisa said. She was always the careful one, which is why Jake trusted her judgment. "Maybe," Jake replied. "But we can't ignore a distress call." "That's not who we are," Tony nodded. "The Kepler system is only 6 hours away at full speed. We could check it out and still make it to Centauri on time." Jake made his decision. "Set course for Kepler system. But keep our weapons ready, just in case." The Liberty turned toward the distant star system. Jake had a bad feeling about this, but he couldn't leave someone to die in space. That wasn't the human way. 6 hours later, they dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the 3rd planet of the Kepler system. What they saw made everyone on the bridge go quiet. 40 alien ships surrounded them. The ships were big and dark, with strange designs that hurt to look at. They had been waiting, hidden behind the planet where the Liberty's sensors couldn't detect them. "Red alert," Jake said calmly. "All hands to battle stations." The alert klaxon echoed through the ship. On the viewing screen, the largest alien ship moved forward. It was twice the size of the Liberty and covered in weapons. "This is Admiral Vextar of the Hegemony Fleet," a cold voice said over the communication system. "Captain Morrison, you have walked into our trap. Your ship and your species have become too dangerous to ignore." Jake stepped forward. "This is Captain Morrison of the USS Liberty. We came here to help someone in distress. If you have a problem with humanity, we can discuss it like civilized beings." The alien admiral laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "Civilized? Your species advances too quickly. In 50 years, you have gone from primitive rockets to ships that rival our own. You threaten the balance of power in this galaxy. We're explorers, not conquerors," Jake said. "We seek knowledge and friendship with other species." "Lies," Vextar replied. "All species say this when they are weak, but you will not remain weak for long. The hegemony has decided to act before you become a threat we cannot handle." Jake looked at his tactical display. The alien ships had them completely surrounded. There was no way to run, and they were outnumbered 20 to 1. "What do you want?" Jake asked. "You will surrender your ship's technical specifications. You will agree to limits on your technology, and you will return to your little planet and stay there. And if we refuse, then you will die here slowly, as your ship's systems fail one by one." As if to prove his point, the alien ships began to glow with a strange blue light. Jake felt the Liberty shudder around him. "Captain," Lisa called from her station. "They're hitting us with some kind of energy field. It's not like anything I've seen before. Our weapons are going offline." Jake watched his tactical display as system after system turned red. First the weapons, then the shields, then the engines. The alien field was somehow shutting down their technology piece by piece. "How long do we have?" Jake asked. Lisa checked her readings. "At this rate, complete. System failure in 4 hours. Life support will fail in 6. Jake looked around the bridge at his crew. Katie was still trying to send messages to Earth, but the alien field was blocking all communications. Tony was running calculations, looking for a way out. Lisa was working frantically at her station, trying to find a way to stop the shutdown. "Sir," Lisa said suddenly, "there's something strange about this field. It's not just draining our power. It's doing something else to our systems. The patterns are wrong." "What do you mean?" "I mean the field is affecting our quantum core in ways that shouldn't be possible. It's like the aliens don't fully understand what they're doing to us." Jake felt a small spark of hope. If the aliens didn't understand human technology completely, maybe there was a chance. "Keep working on it," he told Lisa. "Find out everything you can about that field." Admiral Vextar's voice filled the bridge again. "Captain Morrison, you have 3 hours to decide. Surrender or watch your crew die." Jake looked at the alien fleet surrounding his ship. The Liberty was humanity's pride and joy, but she was just one ship against 40. Any sane person would surrender, but Jake Morrison wasn't just any person, he was human. And humans had a bad habit of doing impossible things when their backs were against the wall. "We'll see about that," he said quietly, and began planning something that would either save them all or get them killed trying. Lisa Parker ran through the corridors of the Liberty as the ship shook around her. The alien energy field was getting stronger, and more systems were failing every minute. She had to get to the engine room fast. The lights flickered as she reached the engineering section. Her team was already there, working frantically at their stations. Ryan Cross, her best mechanic, was pulling apart a control panel with his bare hands. Amy Foster was running diagnostics on the fusion reactor. Dr. Carl Newman, the ship's physicist, was staring at readings that made no sense. "Report," Lisa said as she slid into her workstation. "It's bad, Chief," Ryan said without looking up. "The alien field is shutting down everything electronic, but it's not doing it the normal way. It's like the field is rewriting how our systems work." Amy looked up from her screen. "The fusion reactor is still running, but it's behaving strangely. The quantum patterns are shifting in ways I've never seen before." Lisa pulled up the reactor readings on her main screen. What she saw made her heart race. The numbers were impossible. The quantum field around their fusion core was dancing in patterns that shouldn't exist. "Carl, are you seeing this?" she asked. The physicist Dr. Newman nodded slowly. "The alien field isn't just draining our power. It's forcing our systems to operate on quantum principles that we've only studied in theory. It's like they're accidentally pushing our technology into a new realm of physics." Lisa felt excitement building in her chest. This wasn't just a shutdown. This was something else entirely. "Can we use it?" she asked. "Use what?" Ryan asked, still working on the control panel. "The field. Instead of fighting it, what if we work with it? What if we let it change our systems but guide the changes ourselves?" Amy stopped what she was doing and stared at Lisa. "That's crazy. We don't know what it would do to us." "We know what it's doing to us now," Lisa replied. "It's killing us slowly. But if we can control the process, maybe we can turn their weapon into our salvation." On the bridge, Captain Morrison was watching his ship die piece by piece. More systems went red on his tactical display every few minutes. The crew was doing their best, but there seemed to be no way out. "Captain," Katie said from her communication station, "I'm picking up something strange. There's a signal coming from one of the alien ships. It's not like the others." "What kind of signal?" "It's encoded, but I think someone is trying to contact us secretly." Jake walked over to her station. "Can you decode it?" Katie worked for several minutes before nodding. "It's from someone called Commander Zeph. The message says he's from the Altarian delegation, and he doesn't agree with what's happening here." "Put him through, but keep it quiet," Jake said. A new voice came through Katie's earpiece, and she put it on speaker at low volume. The voice was different from Admiral Vextar's. It sounded younger and less harsh. "Captain Morrison, this is Commander Zeph of the Altarian ship Peaceful Dawn. I must speak quickly. Not all of us agree with the hegemony's actions here today." "I'm listening," Jake said. "The quantum disruptor field they're using is experimental. The Catherians built it, but they don't fully understand how it works. My people studied the plans. The field doesn't just shut down technology. It can transform it if you know how to guide the process." Jake felt hope stir in his chest. "How do we do that?" "I don't know. But your ship's quantum signatures are unlike anything we've seen. If any species could figure it out, it would be humans. You have a reputation for doing impossible things. How much time do we have?" "Admiral Vextar is getting impatient. Maybe 2 hours before he decides to destroy your ship instead of just disabling it." The connection ended. Jake stared at the communication station, thinking hard. Down in engineering, Lisa was explaining her plan to her team. "The alien field is forcing our systems to operate on quantum levels. Instead of trying to stop it, we modify our systems to work with the quantum effects." "That's insane," Ryan said. "We don't have the equipment for that kind of work." "We have spare parts, backup systems, and the most advanced fusion reactor in human space," Lisa replied. "Plus we have something the aliens don't expect." "What's that?" Amy asked. "Human stubbornness. We're going to rebuild this ship's core systems while they're trying to shut us down. We're going to turn their weapon against them." Dr. Newman was running calculations on his portable computer. "Lisa, if this works, we won't just save the ship. We'll create something entirely new. A vessel that operates on quantum principles we've never achieved before." "And if it doesn't work?" Ryan asked. "Then we die," Lisa said simply. "But we're going to die anyway if we don't try." Captain Morrison's voice came over the intercom. "All hands, this is the captain. We're about to attempt something that has never been tried before. We're going to use the alien field to transform our ship instead of letting it destroy us. It's dangerous, but it's our only chance. I need every person on this ship to do their job better than they've ever done it before." Lisa looked at her team. They were scared, but they were ready. "Amy, start modifying the reactor control systems. Ryan, I need you to rebuild the main power distribution network. Carl, you're going to help me rewire the quantum field generators." "Huh. Are we going to do all this with the ship shutting down around us?" Amy asked. Lisa smiled grimly. "The same way humans have always done impossible things. One step at a time, and we don't give up." The team got to work. Outside, the alien fleet waited for their surrender. But inside the Liberty, humans were doing what they did best. They were turning a hopeless situation into an opportunity. The ship shook again as more systems failed. But in the engine room, Lisa Parker and her team were building something that would change the galaxy forever. They just didn't know it yet. Lisa Parker's hands moved quickly over the control panel as sparks flew from damaged circuits around her. The ship was falling apart, but her team was making progress. They had been working for an hour, and something amazing was starting to happen. "Amy, how's the reactor looking?" Lisa called out over the noise of failing systems. Amy Foster wiped sweat from her face as she checked her readings. "It's incredible, Chief. The quantum field is stabilizing. The reactor isn't just running anymore, it's singing. Lisa knew what Amy meant. The fusion reactor was producing a harmonic frequency that seemed to pulse through the entire ship. It felt alive. Ryan Cross finished connecting the last of the modified power cables. Power distribution network is ready. But Lisa, these readings don't make sense. We're producing 3 times more energy than before, but the reactor is using less fuel. Dr. Carl Newman looked up from his calculations. That's because we're not just using fusion anymore. The quantum field is allowing us to tap into energy sources we didn't know existed. We're pulling power from the fabric of space itself. On the bridge, Captain Morrison felt the change before he saw it on his instruments. The ship stopped shaking. The lights grew brighter and steadier. Most surprising of all, he felt something in his mind. It was like a whisper, but not quite a voice. "Captain," Tony Rodriguez said from his navigation station. "Something's happening to our sensors. I'm seeing things that shouldn't be there." Jake walked over to Tony's station. The navigation display showed space around them, but there were new layers of information. Tony could see energy patterns, subspace currents, and dimensional boundaries that had been invisible before. "It's like we're seeing through new eyes," Tony said quietly. "Captain, I think I can plot courses through dimensions we never knew existed." Katie Wells gasped at her communications station. "Sir, I'm picking up signals from everywhere, not just radio waves. I can hear thoughts, emotions, the dreams of sleeping beings on distant worlds. It's beautiful and terrifying at the same time." Jake felt the whisper in his mind grow stronger. It wasn't threatening. It felt like the ship itself was trying to talk to him. Down in engineering, Lisa's team was experiencing the same thing. The boundary between them and the ship was becoming blurred. They could feel the Liberty systems as if they were part of their own bodies. "This is impossible," Ryan said, but he was smiling. "I can feel every circuit, every wire, every bolt in this ship. It's like the Liberty is becoming part of us." Amy nodded, "And we're becoming part of her. I can sense the thoughts of everyone on board. Not their private thoughts, but their intentions, their hopes, their fears." Dr. Newman was taking readings as fast as he could. "We're not just connected to the ship anymore. We're connected to each other, and to something much larger. The quantum field has created a bridge between consciousness and technology." The transformation was happening faster now. Throughout the ship, crew members reported strange but wonderful experiences. They could work together without speaking. They knew what needed to be done before orders were given. The ship's computer systems began processing information at impossible speeds, but outside the Liberty, the alien fleet was growing alarmed. Admiral Vextar stared at his instruments in disbelief. "What are they doing over there? Power readings are off the charts. Their ship should be dead by now." His science officer, a thin creature with too many eyes, checked the readings again. "Admiral, the quantum disruptor field is still active, but somehow the human ship is using it to enhance their systems instead of shutting them down. That's impossible. No species has ever done that before. The humans are different, Admiral." "Perhaps we underestimated them." Vextar's anger flared. "I don't care how different they are. Increase the disruptor field strength. Shut them down now." But when the alien ships increased their attack, something unexpected happened. The Liberty absorbed the extra energy and used it to complete its transformation. Captain Morrison felt the moment when everything changed. The whisper in his mind became a clear voice, and he realized it was the ship itself speaking to him. "Jake," the Liberty said, using a voice that sounded like all of his crew speaking together. "We are one now. Human and machine, consciousness and technology, united as something new." Jake found he could speak back without using his voice. "What have we become? We are what happens when humans refuse to give up. We are possibility made." Real, we are the bridge between what is and what could be. On his tactical display, Jake could see the alien fleet more clearly than ever before. He could sense their confusion, their fear, and underneath it all, their curiosity about what the humans had accomplished. "They're preparing to destroy us," Jake said. "No," the Liberty replied. "They're preparing to learn from us. Some of them are frightened, but others are fascinated. Look closer." Jake expanded his awareness and felt the minds of the alien crews. Most were afraid, but some were filled with wonder. Commander Zeph's thoughts were brightest of all. The Altarian was amazed and hopeful. Lisa Parker's voice came over the intercom, but Jake could also feel her thoughts directly. "Captain, the transformation is complete. We're not just a ship anymore. We're something that's never existed before." "What are our capabilities?" Jake asked. Tony Rodriguez answered from navigation. "We can travel instantly across vast distances. We can phase through solid matter. We can communicate directly with any consciousness, regardless of language or species." Katie Wells added, "And Captain, we can share what we've learned. We can show other beings what it's like to be human, to never give up hope even when everything seems impossible." Jake felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. They had gained incredible power, but they were still human. They still had choices to make. Admiral Vextar's voice crackled over the communication system. "Human ship, you will. Surrender immediately or we will destroy you," Jake smiled. The alien admiral had no idea what he was really threatening. The Liberty was no longer just a ship that could be destroyed. It was an idea made real, and ideas were much harder to kill. "Admiral Vextar," Jake replied, his voice carrying new harmonics that seemed to resonate in the minds of everyone who heard it. "We're not going to surrender. But we're not going to fight you either. We're going to show you something better." The USS Liberty hung in space like a silver star, glowing with energy that made the alien sensors scream warnings. Captain Jake Morrison could feel every thought of his crew, every heartbeat, every breath. But more than that, he could sense the fear and confusion coming from the enemy fleet. Admiral Vextar was shouting orders at his crew. "Charge all weapons. Target their reactor. I want that ship destroyed before whatever they're doing spreads to us." But Jake could hear something else in the alien admiral's voice. Underneath the anger was terror. Vextar was afraid because he didn't understand what the humans had become. Lisa Parker stood in the engineering section, but she wasn't just there anymore. Part of her consciousness was flowing through every system on the ship. She could feel the quantum energy dancing through the Liberty's hull like music made of light. "Captain," she said, her voice reaching him through both the intercom and their mental link. "I think I understand what we've become. We're not just human and machine anymore. We're a bridge between different kinds of consciousness." Dr. Carl Newman was studying readings that broke every law of physics he knew. "The quantum field has made us into something that exists in multiple dimensions at once. We're still us, but we're also something much bigger." Tony Rodriguez felt the space around them in ways that made him dizzy with wonder. "Captain, I can see the paths between stars like they're highways. I can sense planets with life on them light years away, and I think I can take us anywhere instantly." Katie Wells was receiving signals from across the galaxy. "Sir, there are so many voices out there. Millions of species, all trying to communicate, all hoping someone will understand them." Jake felt the Liberty's consciousness merge more fully with his own mind. The ship spoke to him in a voice that was part machine, part human, and part something entirely new. "Jake, we have a choice to make," the Liberty said. "We can use our power to fight, or we can use it to heal. The aliens are preparing to attack us with everything they have." Jake looked at his tactical display. The 40 ships of the Hegemony fleet were moving into attack formation. Their weapons were charging, and he could feel the hatred and fear. radiating from most of the crews, but not all of them. Commander Zeph's ship, the Peaceful Dawn, was holding back from the others. Jake could sense the Altarian's thoughts clearly now. Zeph was amazed by what the humans had accomplished, and he was trying to convince his own crew to stand down. On 3 other ships, Jake sensed doubt among the alien crews. They were beginning to question whether attacking was the right thing to do. "Admiral Vextar," Jake said, his voice now carrying harmonics that seemed to reach into the minds of everyone who heard it. "We don't want to fight you. We want to show you something that could change everything." "Lies," Vextar snarled. "You have become something unnatural, something that threatens the order of the galaxy. You must be destroyed." Jake felt sadness for the alien admiral. Vextar was so afraid of change that he couldn't see the beauty in what had happened. "Then we'll show you instead of telling you," Jake said quietly. The Liberty began to glow brighter. But instead of preparing weapons, the ship did something that no one expected. It started broadcasting, not radio signals or data streams, but something much more powerful. The Liberty projected pure understanding directly into the minds of every conscious being in the alien fleet. For the first time in their lives, the alien crews felt what it was like to be human. They experienced the moment when early humans first looked up at the stars and dreamed of traveling between them. They felt the determination of generations who worked and sacrificed to make that dream real. They experienced the wonder of the first human to step onto another world, the joy of making contact with alien life, and the hope that all species could learn to work together. But most importantly, they felt what had happened on the Liberty. They experienced the crew's choice to turn a weapon meant to destroy them into something that could bring species together. The effect was immediate and powerful. On Admiral Vextar's flagship, half the crew stopped what they were doing and stared at their weapons controls in horror. They had felt human compassion and couldn't understand how they had been about to destroy beings capable of such forgiveness. Commander Zeph openly wept as he experienced the full depth of human hope. "Admiral," he broadcast to the entire fleet, "we cannot destroy this. What they have become is not a threat. It's a gift to the entire galaxy." On ship after ship, alien crews began refusing orders to attack. The Gemini fleet, which had been united in its desire to destroy humanity, was now divided. Some still wanted to fight, but others were beginning to understand what they would be destroying. Dr. Newman was monitoring the quantum fields around the fleet. "Captain, the effect is spreading. Some of the alien ships are beginning to resonate with our frequency. I think their crews are starting to understand us on a level deeper than language." Amy Foster called out from her station. "Captain, I'm detecting massive power buildup on the Admiral's ship. He's charging some kind of planet-killer weapon." Jake felt Admiral Vextar's mind through the quantum link. The alien was terrified and furious. He had felt human emotions, and it only made him more determined to destroy what he couldn't control. "All ships that stand with humanity, move away from the flagship," Vextar commanded. "I am going to end this threat once and for all." Commander Zeph's voice came over the fleet communications. "Admiral, stop. You don't understand what you're about to destroy." "I understand perfectly," Vextar replied. "They have become something that will change everything. I will not allow the order we have built to crumble because of human sentiment." Jake could see the massive weapon charging on Vextar's ship. It was designed to crack planets in half. One shot from it would vaporize the Liberty and everyone on board. But Jake Morrison was human, and humans had a gift for turning the impossible into the inevitable. "Lisa," he said through their mental link, "can we absorb that much energy?" Lisa Parker smiled, even though she was terrified. "Captain, we're about to find out what happens when you mix human stubbornness with quantum physics." The planet killer weapon finished charging. Admiral Vextar gave the order to fire, and the Liberty prepared to do something that would be remembered across the galaxy for 1,000 years. The planet-killer weapon fired at the USS Liberty with enough energy to destroy a world. The beam of pure destruction cut through space like a sword made of light and death. Captain Jake Morrison felt the weapon coming through his connection with the ship. Time seemed to slow down as he made the most important decision of his life. He could use the Liberty's new powers to dodge the beam or reflect it back at Admiral Vextar's ship. But that wasn't the human way. "Lisa," he said through their mental link, "can we absorb it?" "I don't know," Lisa Parker replied from engineering, "but we're going to try." The Liberty opened itself like a flower made of energy. Instead of running from the planet-killer beam, the ship embraced it. The weapon's energy hit the Liberty's quantum field, and something beautiful happened. The destructive force that should have vaporized them was transformed into pure creative energy. The Liberty drank in the power and changed it from something that destroyed into something that healed. Dr. Carl Newman watched in amazement as his instruments showed the impossible. The quantum field is converting the weapon's energy into harmonious frequencies. We're not just absorbing it. We're transforming it into something life-giving. Amy Foster called out from her station. "Captain, the energy is building up inside our systems. We need to release it or we'll overload." "Then let's give it back to them," Jake said with a smile. "But not the way they gave it to us." The Liberty began to glow brighter than a star. The transformed energy flowed out from the ship in waves of golden light that washed over the entire hegemony fleet. But this wasn't a weapon. It was a gift. The energy healed damage to every ship it touched. Broken systems were repaired. Wounded crew members found their injuries disappearing. Old ships became new again, their hulls gleaming and their engines running better than they ever had. But more than fixing machines, the energy fixed something deeper. It carried with it the essence of what humanity had learned. Every alien who was touched by the light felt hope for the first time in their lives. They understood that the universe was not a place of endless conflict, but a place where different species could work together to build something better. On Admiral Vextar's flagship, the alien admiral stared at his instruments in shock. His planet-killer weapon had been turned into a force for healing. His ship, which had been scarred by 100 battles, now looked like it had just come from the shipyard. But the greatest change was in Vextar himself. The wave of energy had touched his mind, and for the first time he truly understood what the humans had tried to show him. He felt their determination to never give up, their willingness to forgive even those who tried to destroy them, and their dream of a galaxy where all species could live in peace. The alien admiral fell to his knees on his bridge. "What have I done?" he whispered. "What have we all done?" Commander Zeph's voice came over the fleet communications, filled with wonder. "Admiral, do you see it now? This is not a threat to destroy. This is a miracle to celebrate." All across the hegemony fleet, similar scenes were playing out. Alien crews who had come to destroy humanity were now weeping with joy as they experienced the gift the humans had given them. The Liberty had not just healed their ships. It had healed something broken in their souls. Captain Morrison felt the consciousness of every being in the fleet. Where before there had been fear and hatred, now there was understanding and hope. Tony Rodriguez plotted a course that took them through dimensions of space he had never seen before. "Captain, I can take us anywhere in the galaxy now. The Liberty has become something that exists everywhere at once." Katie Wells was receiving messages from across the star systems. "Sir, word is spreading. Other species are hearing about what happened here. They want to meet us. They want to learn how we did this." But Jake Morrison knew that what they had accomplished wasn't about technology. It was about something much more important. "Lisa," he said, "what have we really done here?" Lisa Parker smiled as she felt the harmony flowing through every system of their transformed ship. "We've shown the galaxy that there's always another choice. Instead of destroying our enemies, we turned them into friends. Instead of using power to conquer, we used it to heal. Admiral Vestara's voice came over the communication system, but now it was humble and filled with regret. Captain Morrison, I owe you and your species an apology that can never be enough. We came here to destroy you because we were afraid. But you have shown us that our fear was foolish. Admiral, Jake replied, his voice now carrying harmonics that seemed to speak directly to the soul. You don't owe us anything. We've all learned something today. What happens now? Vextar asked. Jake looked around the bridge at his crew. They were still human, but they were also something more. They had become a bridge between species, a living example of what was possible when beings chose cooperation over conflict. Now, we build something new, Jake said. The hegemony is finished, but not because we destroyed it. It's finished because we've created something better to take its place. And so began the Quantum Accord, a new alliance of species based not on fear or dominance, but on understanding and shared consciousness. The Liberty became the first of many ships that could bridge the gap between different kinds of life, carrying crews from multiple species who worked together as one. Years later, when historians wrote about the day that changed the galaxy, they would call it the moment when humanity taught the universe how to hope. But Captain Jake Morrison and his crew knew the truth. They hadn't taught the galaxy anything new. They had simply refused to give up on the oldest human dream of all, that someday, all the children of the stars could live together in peace. The Liberty sailed on through dimensions that sparkled with possibility, no longer just a ship but a living symbol of what could be accomplished when beings chose love over fear, understanding over hatred, and hope over despair. The divine machine had been born not from technology, but from the most human trait of all, the refusal to believe that any situation was truly hopeless.